Alright, BCA 101. This is a overview. This is an overview of the Unit 1 that I did during the Tuesday hybrid class. Okay? So the first thing we did, we talked about information, communications, technology. So in the world now, you're starting to hear this terminology where we're combining information, communications, and technology together. Information technology is probably a little more older term, less popular. We talked about computing devices and the Internet of Everything. We are connecting devices all over the world via the Internet. So we need to understand hardware. So we have a picture here of hardware. And we're going to talk about software, compare them together. So in the hardware, since I'm just trying to emphasize the notes, we talked about the processor, we talked about memory, they communicate via electronic bus, we talked about the importance of storage. When we talk about in the class memory, we're talking about that place in memory where the processor works on what's in memory back and forth between the processor. Like in a tablet device, it's all one. The memory and the storage is almost like the same place. But in PCs, laptops, and so forth, we have a storage device like a hard drive, or we talk about storage storing on a DVD or a flash drive. All that communicating via the electronic bus. And as an example, we take a program from here, bring it into memory, and then maybe this is some data, and we bring the data in the memory, and the program processes the data using the processor instructions. Okay? Then we talked about here our computer, our PC for example, can be connected to the IT network. We're going to talk more specifically about that later on. And you can store things on the U drive. Let me make that a little more clear. That's just a letter we apply to. So we have a storage device on a server. And so that's one place, storage. You could store it locally. You could store it on the server. Also on campus, if you happen to be on the network, the regular NIACC network, that's why that has a separate login. These two are actually separate, even though it's one big local area network. You could store it there, and I believe they call that the H drive. Now you can't get from this PC here, you can't get from this PC here all the way to the H drive, because we're logged into two different places, so you can't do that. You can't do that. But you can get from here out to the internet. Or you can get from here to Angel, which is on a server over in this part of the network. We can do that. Alright, then we talked about the different mediums and how we connect. And here you can see a smartphone could connect to the network here at the college. Laptops, they can connect here at the college. You could take a tablet and connect that through the wireless, or your smartphone can also, you can use your 3G and 4G and connect to a tower there. Alright, so I'm going to move to the next page. I'm going to move to the next, and we'll take a look at the whole thing here. Okay, so we can connect out to the, we can connect here, whoa. We can connect here to our U drive that we talked about, or we can go out here through NIACC and we go to the internet. And from the internet, we'll talk about some other connections there. Here's that example with a smartphone, maybe connecting to a tower, and maybe that tower is connected to AT&T, which can connect you in the internet. So you could use data, plus you could use your cellular, which would be even separate from that. We talked about software, two different kinds. System software, the operating system deals with the hardware. Our applications work through the operating system. And then we have a set of utilities that allow us to manipulate the operating system. Alright, so I'm going to move to the next page. Data. We have data processed in the information. Data is made up of bits. We group 8 bits together, we get a byte. Bit comes from the term binary digit. We have this here. Processing comes from software. The app will do the processing in order to get for what we want. Alright, and then we were connected here. We had the example of the internet. The internet, for example, NIACC has a place in Charles City, so they can connect here. The internet can be a means that they can connect those two. We can connect to Dell. We could be at home and come in and connect to internet and work with some servers there. We can be here at the college and we can connect out to Google, and you can store things in Google, which is just their hardware storing it on their hard drive. We can do online banking and connect back and forth to the bank. Also, down here, this can be a WAN, wide area network, not going through the internet. It could be some company and they pay a service provider like AT&T or Verizon, or it could be through their local telephone company that makes the connection through a service provider, and they can connect to locations. For example, you might have a business here in Mason City and connect with a branch office in Cedar Falls. Big companies like Walmart and so forth, they do that. They have the stores all connected in a hierarchy, and they pay service providers to move the information between the stores. And service providers can move it then if they have another company that wants to connect in, you can get a service provider and do that. Alright, so these were the notes for the day, and that is an overview of the notes, and that's it for now.